My fellow fighters and the people of the world, I just hope you don't be shocked by what you're about to listen to. What you're about to witness is something I'm sure you were never expecting in your entire life to ever hear. Worst part coming from Floyd Shivambu. Floyd Shivambu is saying that the CIC and the EFF councillors, they're involved in corruption scandals in the municipalities, stealing government monies, stealing millions and millions. And the CIC is forcing these councillors to steal millions and go give them to him so he can live a luxurious life, the CIC. Floyd Shivambu says, you're going to hear him for yourself. This is Floyd Shivambu telling you all of this. Listen to this.
That is why when there was a suppression of that struggle, we thought that time that maybe let us constitute a different movement to fight for economic freedom in our lifetime. In the beginning, it's begun well, but with time, those that we founded the EFF with began to adopt mannerisms and habits not dissimilar from the ANC. And what are those habits and mannerisms? Is to chase tenders desperately. Desperately. It's want to get rich desperately or die trying. Where to the extent that when EFF began to be involved in government, you find the leadership telling those who are deployees of the EFF and government that if you don't deliver millions here to me, it means you are not serious about leadership. And then some of us had to associate with that. We said, we'll never associate with that. Where government deployees of an opposition party with less than 10% start bragging about siphoning off money of government, millions of rands. And they see nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, they will say it's fundraising for the movement. But if you check the lifestyle and everything else that they gain out of that, that is no longer a revolution. There was no way. And we never chose to wage factional battles against that. We just say, this thing in any way, under this misguidance, it will not go anywhere. In any way, the people of South Africa had begun to see that it looks like we have created another problem here. Hence, lesser and lesser number of people began to give it votes. Because they realized that this is not dissimilar from this nonsense that we have been trying to remove from power.
The question though, my fellow fighters and the people of the world, you need to ask yourself is, why haven't you ever heard about those stories? Not from Floyd. Forget about Floyd. Floyd will say anything for whatever it is that is feeding him. But forget about Floyd. The media, all the EFF haters, all the investigative journalists against the EFF. Why haven't you heard stories like that about EFF councillors, EFF MMCs stealing monies from tenders in the money? Why haven't you heard about it? Have you ever heard about it? Have you ever seen any case open? Have you ever seen the media tell you, even the media, not even if it's facts with the media, even if it was propaganda, have you ever seen any propaganda like that in the media? So, okay, this Floyd is saying it. You know, when Floyd said this, every time Floyd speaks bad about the MK party and EFF, this thing will haunt me, I believe, forever, as long as it's still in my head. I always, when I listen to Floyd, I always, in the back of my head, I hear the voice of Mqebo Dlamini saying, there will always be funding for an anti-Julius Malema agenda. There will always be funding for an anti-Jacob Zuma agenda. That always comes into my head. This thing will haunt me forever because that stuck with me. And I don't know if you guys remember when Floyd started his political what consultations. I told you live. I made a video live. Yeah, you were watching. I said to you guys that Floyd will only rely on speaking about the EFF and the MK party to continue getting relevancy. But now he's not even getting the relevancy anymore, even though he's busy talking about the MK party and the EFF so much. Yeah, consultations, yeah, they go, Batwalisa, Holy, they speak to people. He visit people's churches and they speak to the congregation. It's beautiful that he's going to church. To be honest, shout out to him for going to church. I just hope he prays to God and he really does worship God. I'm not a Christian, but I have nothing against people who go to Christian churches, but I'm not a Christian. And don't expect me to be one. Don't even force me to have that conversation with you because I don't want to. I'm not a Christian though. I don't do intos of pasha, African pasha. I don't do that. I believe in God. I love God. I worship God. And God protect me. That's why I'm the person I am. One day I will tell you more about my religion. Beautiful religion. Beautiful, beautiful religion. Okay, it's fine. Maybe you already have an idea of what I'm talking about. But if you do know, keep it to yourself. Don't give anyone any hint. Yeah, it is what it is. So, okay, back to Shivambu. Shivambu. He's speaking the way he's speaking. He's a wounded buffalo. Okay, he says all of these things. Why didn't he say these things when he was in the MK party? Why didn't he say these things to Shivambu for Walsh? Why didn't he say these things when he was still in the EFF? Pele was in the EFF last year. So that means if it's true what he's saying, let's say it's true, allegedly, that means he's complacent to crime. That means he was watching crime happen and he kept quiet. Maybe he was being loyal. Okay, shout out to him for loyalty. It's fine. Maybe he was being loyal to the CIC. Okay, shout out to him for that. I would admire him if he said, I was quiet because I was being loyal. I would admire him. But even now that he's blowing his horns, he's busy speaking, blowing hot air, I don't admire him. It's like he repels people, this guy. The way he speaks, the more he speaks, is the more you realize, no, man, these bombastic words is simple. The things he says are simple. It's just his accent, his African Tsonga accent when he speaks English, make it seem like he's speaking bombastic things, but no, it's simplified English. It's just the accent, you know that accent. D, de, you know the suffix, you know the specifics, the suffix, interrogation, motivated by General Lieutenant General Ntlantam Kwanazi from KZN. He's a police commissioner deployed by Cyril Ramaphosa, the government, who is currently ANC leadership president. I don't know if that's how Floyd speaks, but I doubt he speaks like that. Guys, it is what it is. We thank you very much. Danko.